terrorist, and it's like
Yeah.
not fair, not fair. But America was united. Everybody was like,
Mhm.
after noise, you're gonna come here. It's like we might have a lot of infighting,
Mhm.
like here, you know, because
Yeah.
basically, you know, it's infighting in family, so piss off. But you come over here, you best believe, like even the good old boys are gonna hook up
Mhm.
with the hood dudes, and we're gonna take you
Yeah.
down because this is our country.
Yeah. Absolutely. And sure, and it's and the same thing can happen again, man. Like if someone like China tried to invade this country, they're gonna have a real
Oh,
hard time.
we link
But
up. Everybody link up.
I'm gonna say a couple things here because they're gonna be relatively controversial. Because I don't like necessarily celebrating 9/11 because sometimes it's just like with a bully. The more you celebrate it and the more that you change your life, you actually have given in and let the terrorists win, right? And that's not an indictment of the people that are lost or and everything, right? But it's just like sometimes if you continue, you have to be careful with how you're honoring it and sanctifying it. But I will say that there are definitive lessons that can be learned. One, that there is still opportunity out there for America to be a fantastic nation again. A nation that has really embodied the original ideals. And even though that's, and I mean the letter of the original ideals, not the spirit, the idea that every man, woman, and child is equal in the
Mm-hmm.
eyes of the government, is equal in the eyes of whatever religion that you choose to pursue, is equal in opportunities and rights, and nobody has a fear of being judged or being attacked based on what they believe, what they look like, what they say, what they sound like. Um, what they smell like is different because if you're nasty, we got. No, I'm just kidding, but there is still that out there in this environment. So I'm gonna take just a moment of silence, for the people that fell, the people that rose to the occasion, and the people that sacrificed, regardless of whether or not we think the wars in the following were justified or unjustified, people lost their lives and people did what they had to do in order to try to solidify the country. You know, it went from Bush declaring through the wars to Obama under his watch getting Osama bin Laden. So it spanned two presidents, 16 years,
Yeah.
of this going on. So this is not a bipartisan effort. This is just an example of togetherness of what can happen with the nation. So I just want to take a moment to honor those people and to reflect on the lessons that we can learn and we can apply in this time of crisis, unprecedented time of crisis in the nation. All right, man. I said moment of silence. You didn't have to breathe so hard.
Big up
I'm
to
just kidding.
big up to all the people, man, who
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who are still suffering about who lost family members during that
Mm-hmm.
day. It was that's the day everyone's gonna remember where the hell they were. Well, that is if you are. Let me refrain that. If you're 25 and older, you
Yeah.
remember where the hell you were. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember go. I remember okay, I was in college, so do you know what came to my mind? Is like, am I gonna have class today? like, you
Yeah.
know,
Well, it's like, dude, I mean, the
mm-hmm.
first plane. Oh, I am getting chills even thinking about it. The first plane.
Yeah,
When I first saw that, I'm like, oh my god, like
mm-hmm.
that just happened. And
Yeah,
then when you see the second plane, it's like, wait, why is that plane so low? No, not again, not again. And then when I hit again,
yeah,
when it hit the other tower,
yeah.
it's like
Anyway,
someone's gonna die.
yeah.
Someone's
So
gonna die. A horror.
somebody's
It's
got
like
to die.
like I said, in America we have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of infighting.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's just like
but
it's a
you come over here,
dysfunctional
you start
family.
shit. You are gonna get
Yeah,
stomped.
it is such a dysfunctional family. But if you come in trying to tell us what's going on, man, we are going to unite against
Oh,
you,
for
man.
sure, man. Oh,
Easy.
for sure. Racists on both sides holding each other like brothers.
Yeah,
Like it's
there you
gonna
go.
happen.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because that was always, that was my theory. Like, God, I remember thinking about this like 10 years ago, and people would laugh at me, but I would say, what would bring the world together?
Hmm.
Alien invasion.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, you're going Ozymandias, man. You're going
I'm,
straight Watchmen.
but, but, but you know what though? Like,
Mhm.
even though what he did was shitty too, it's like he has a point.
Yeah, he
You
was
create a
right.
common enemy, the doomsday clock's gonna go away. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? We're
Yeah.
gonna be working together,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
and
that's
it's
where the
like
movie,
let's build our defenses
messed
up,
that up.
huh?
That's where the movie messed that up. They should have went with the original plan. I won't get into
They
that,
should have
man.
went, yeah. They should have went with the squid.
Yeah, man, that was solid. Anyway, man. Anyway, let's get back to what we really came here to talk about is the long-awaited return of the National Football League.
Bum, 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 bum,
Man,
bum, bum.
I tell you what, this has been such a strange year for sports, and some of my favorite radio broadcasters, like Mike Golick, he's no longer on the air. I
That
used to,
Golick was a shit.
oh, I love Golick, man.
Yeah.
I I don't mind so much that they replaced him with Jay Wright. I like Jay Wright.
hmm
I am not a. I think it's Keyshawn who's also. I'm not a huge Keyshawn fan.
You
Uh,
know what? I like Keyshawn because he ruffles a lot of feathers, and you gotta have that
yeah,
guy. You gotta have
yeah.
that guy that's
I,
gonna do
I
that.
I get it, and like I don't mind ruffling the feathers. It's just I just when I'm listening to that show in the morning, it's just like when I used to listen to Mike and Mike in the morning. I like
hmm
Golick, and I
hmm
agree with Golick a lot. Mike Greenberg got annoying to me. Trey Wingo kind of got annoying to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Greeny? Wingo?
I mean, Wingo was okay. The problem with Wingo is like on his show, like he would always he it had to be like no matter where the conversation was going, he always brought it back so he could interject his point that he had to make, and that just kind of got old a little bit. And but like Golick, both Golicks are amazing. They're just down to earth.
hmm
Like seems like good dudes. Greeny is kind of like a he's a bit stuck up. He's a bit arrogant, and
Yeah, and I don't know. Yes and no. I see. I don't know. I guess I try and see all points,
oh yeah,
and I know you do too. But I don't
it's just
know.
a
I
personal
just
preference.
right, right.
Yeah.
He never like Green never bothered me. And Golick, I remember when I was a kid, Golick had this. He had a sports TV show. I'm not sure if you remember ever seeing it, but it was like almost like a sports bloopers kind of reel
That
that
seems
he
like a
did.
golden thing, man.
Yeah, yeah. But like that's what he was like. It was like the early '90s. And I'm like, who is this? Yeah, because it was George Michael's Sports Machine. I'm not sure if you remember
Yeah,
that show.
I remember that show.
I used to love George Michael's Sports Machine. And then
Hmm.
right after that, it was a Golick doing his show about the sports bloopers or whatever. He'd always do something goofy on there. So I'm like, you know what? I was like, he's a big dude. He's burly and he's doing goofy shit. That's like it reminds me of myself. So I was like,
Yeah,
this dude's great. Um,
he's funny, man. I love. It, but yeah, just like I love the dichotomy between the two. But if I had to hang out with one of them, man, I'm hanging out with Goldie.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. You're gonna hang out with Golick. Golick's more fun.
yeah,
Um,
Greeny. I mean,
he
I'm.
would be.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
No, there was this. Him and his son had this one. I forget what the details were, but I know there was a bet involved, and he had to eat something that was on the floor for a long time,
Yeah,
or he had to chew some old gum or something really gross. And I'm like, oh my god, he went ahead and did it. And I'm like,
yeah,
you know what?
that's pretty.
This would have been the dude in college to party with,
Oh yeah, man.
for sure. But whatever, man. But this football season, man, like I'm looking forward to so many stories, and it'll be. I hope it ends
Yeah.
when it's supposed to end.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the coronavirus really takes pity
Mm-hmm.
on us and just says, "Okay, I'm gonna back off," but it's not gonna care. It doesn't care who you are.
No.
It's steamrolling. Personally, I don't see the NFL lasting more than 3 weeks. That's my take on it. I say 3 weeks at
Mm-hmm.
the most. It's almost impossible not to get people infected, and
Yeah.
you're not in a bubble environment, And can you imagine keeping a roster of 53 men?
Yeah.
and that's just the players. It's not including the
Yeah.
coaching staff, which is like what, like it brings it up to 80.
Oh yeah, you're talking like in the hundreds. Like when you think coaching staff, training staff, support staff, all of that. You can't.
So you're talking about now 3,200 people
Hmm.
keeping them all in line. It's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Especially young people, man. Like the older Mary veterans in the league, I think they'll be okay, man. When you get those
They'll be
young
okay.
dudes coming up with that money,
Yep.
they're gonna be looking. They're gonna be looking to go out and have a good
Yes.
time.
Yes. But you know what though? It's like, hey, if you're gonna pay me 30 something $million for a year
Hmm.
for one year, like 30 some odd mil,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play the sport. I got to be on lockdown for 16 weeks.
Yeah.
I can do it. I went to
Yeah.
boarding school, man.
Yeah, but this is
Ain't no thing to me.
mature. This is mature Big A talking, man. Let's talk about like 22-year-old Aaron. You're gonna be like, "Oh hell no, you ain't keeping me locked down, man." I know 22-year-old Aaron.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But you know what though? If you
But
dangle
22
that
did
carrot
have
in front
like
of me, if you
yeah.
dangle that carrot in front of me and you say, "Look, you do this, you stay locked down, you stay
Hmm.
disciplined," it's like, all right, you know what? I would say number one, let me get my stack of comic books,
Yep.
you know, and just make sure I have the internet, and leave it at that.
Oh man,
I think
that's
I can
yeah.
do it. I think 22-year-old me would do it. I really
Yeah.
do.
I think I would too because even at 22, I mean, that was back when I was still an introvert, but I was a little more like extroverted. That I was kind of like in a phase, man. Yeah, I was hanging out with a
Yeah,
bunch of
plus,
people.
dude,
But
plus like 22 when we were 22
hmm.
is different than kids today who are 22.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, 22 has two totally different,
connotations.
yes,
Yeah,
big
but
time.
bringing it back around. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want football to last. I have a feeling what's going to happen more often, and I don't know what the contingency is. I haven't looked this up, but like if the virus is sweeping through a team, that team may have to either forfeit games or postpone games. So there may be some like reductions in bye weeks or a shifting Super Bowl schedule or something like that.
Yeah, a
Um,
reduced season.
yeah, like all of that stuff needs to be on the table. And the one thing is, I really hope that everybody is okay. Like I'm anticipating there's going to be a few people that get sick, but if they can contain it and it doesn't spread, that's going to be a good thing. What I hope is that people don't try to take any success that the NFL has and politicize it. Like, oh, well, you see, they're out on the field and they're not wearing masks and everything and they're fine. And then another group's like, well, but they're wearing masks all the time in the building and they have these sensors on their arms that tell them when they're 6 feet of people and they're doing all this contact tracing and they're testing. It's like, you can make the argument either way. My recommendation is don't. All right. You just hope for the best for them and take care of yourself the best way that you can at the end of the day.
Yeah, because
But
with what they're doing, man, it's almost like, even though they have all that stuff set up,
uh
but the way the sport's played
yeah,
and how you interact, it's almost like digging a hole
yeah,
and filling it right back up.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
you're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be very interesting to see
Oh,
how this goes
absolutely.
about. You know,
But
Oops.
did you, man? Did you watch the game on Thursday at all, man? My boy Patrick Mahomes gonna win me some fantasy football cash.
Dude,
Yeah,
that dude is just he's literally all the greats mixing in one dude,
yeah.
man.
He's
He's
just
all the greats mixing in one. It's amazing.
yeah. He is
Like,
so good.
yeah, it's just.
I mean, he's beatable. What's so impressive to me about Patrick Mahomes is
Mhm,
that yeah, he can do those one or two big plays. And there's been other quarterbacks in the league that can just make these big splash plays every once in a while. But
mhm.
he's so good within the rhythm of the offense too. It's just
Oh,
it's like it's
dude, like, how do you stop someone like that? Someone
uh
who's so prolific, someone who's so ahead of the curve.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would like to see. You know what? actually I wish now I was at ESPN right now. Like someone pull up.
Yeah.
I want to know how many drives he has had in his career. How many drives has he had? How many drives of those were scored on? I mean,
Yeah.
field goal or touchdown wise.
Yeah.
And if you want to take away the field goals, okay, let's put on the touchdowns. I want to see what his percentage is of scoring when they're
Yeah.
driving. It has to be
Oh,
at an
it's
extremely
insane.
high rate. I'm going to say it's at least, I would say in the low 50, in the mid 50s, if not
Hmm.
60% and up.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, we have to caveat by he came into a perfect situation. He
Yep.
came into Andy Reid is, I think, right now the best quarterback developer since Bill Walsh. Like, period. Like,
I think Bruce Arians would have something to say about that.
yeah, Bruce. Well, Bruce Arians had some amazing talent, right? Like he's
Mhm.
had um,
Roethlisberger, Palmer.
Roethlisberger, Carson Palmer at the end of his career, but still pretty good quarterback.
Hmm.
Um, and Andrew Luck. He had some Andrew Luck.
Hmm.
Remember in Andrew's first season. But think about what Andy Reid has done. He made Donovan McNabb a borderline Hall of Famer. He took Michael Vick, who hadn't played in the league in how many years, and turned him into a Pro Bowl playoff quarterback. He took Nick Foles, or no, he didn't. He didn't take Nick Foles. That was Chip Kelly. Jeff Garcia. He made Jeff Garcia a decent quarterback. He made Alex Smith again. He had another career renaissance after Jim Harbaugh play for Andy Reid. It's just
Mm.
there's just quarterback after quarterback after quarterback that has been successful. I mean, think about
Yeah.
like was it like AJ Floyd or something? I forget his name. He was a backup there, and he played solid enough. He was a backup for
Which
Donovan
team?
McNabb for the Eagles, and he ended up getting a starting quarterback spot in Miami. He wasn't any good because he didn't have Andy Reid with him
That's how
anymore.
you could tell, like, you're being
Yeah,
coached really well, because it's like, yeah, when you could turn that,
mhm,
okay, you're back up, and now teams are vying for you to, okay, we want to give this guy a bigger contract
yeah,
because he played well in this system.
yeah.
It's like, that's phenomenal.
But yeah, so
Although I will disagree with, yeah, everything you said was right. I do disagree with one thing you said.
hmm.
You said, you said
Was it Jeff Garcia
no,
or
Donovan McNabb. Like, Donovan
Bo-
McNabb, definitely a Hall of Famer.
I classify him as a borderline Hall of Famer. I mean,
Why?
I like Donovan McNabb. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league for a while. But when
Mm.
I think about it in a vacuum, like when I
Like towards the
close
end of
my
his
eyes,
career, towards
mhm,
the end, he was,
no,
ugh. He
I
had a
mean,
lot. He was pretty bad. But I would say like the 2/3 of his career was,
mhm.
yeah, he was Pro Bowler every
Oh
year.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you can be a Pro Bowler without being a Hall of Famer. Like I said the same thing, and
Yeah, but
yo,
multiple Pro Bowls, not just one or two.
so Miami Dolphin fan here, right? Miami
Mhm.
Dolphin fan. I kind of feel the same way about Zach Thomas. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, and he's an incredible player.
Mm.
He's borderline. That's kind of where I see like Donovan McNabb. Like if I close my eyes and I
Mm.
think, okay, which quarterbacks in a particular era were head and shoulders above anybody else, right? Was Donovan McNabb like in that era? It would be like Tom Brady. It would be Peyton Manning. That was kind of the end of like the Dan Marino, John Elway era. Like, and,
Yeah,
and I see Donovan McNabb as like a tier down. That's
exactly.
why I'm saying that.
Yeah, at that time, like, yeah, because we're talking like what, like 2001 to
Yeah,
2011, 12. So McNabb, I think during that, yeah, it was, yeah, it was Brady, it was Warner, it was,
yeah.
um,
Manning,
it was the other, yeah, Manning,
big
and it's like
Manning.
you kind of had like those three like sitting right at the very top of the heap,
Yeah,
and then below that, yeah, I would say McNabb was there,
yeah.
and then you
And
had like
that's
your Philip Rivers,
hmm
and Roethlisberger, I guess, as
yeah.
much as it pains me to say it.
Oh, and actually, from a comparison perspective, that's kind of where I actually going back to uh, Patrick Mahomes. I feel like the closest comparison I've ever seen to Patrick Mahomes, honestly, is probably Ben Roethlisberger of about 5 years ago. So you remember when Ben Roethlisberger came into the league? He was all sandbox. Like he would just take all those big hits. He would shrug off tacklers, and then he would just heave the ball down the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he evolved into like this pre-snap, pre-reading the defense, pocket passing guru, gets the ball out of his hands fast, but then has enough of that, can make plays outside of the scheme of the offense that you had to be accountable the whole time. Like he had to learn how to do that. Patrick Mahomes just does it. It is amazing. Like he could potentially go down as the greatest quarterback of all time.
Easily.
So
Right now, he has the best situation to
Their
do
roster
so.
are so loaded still.
Dude, and not only that, I mean, you land this rookie that's now fit into this perfect position, and that had so much hype on him
Yeah.
coming into the year, and it's like, man, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's saying, I've heard a lot of people say he should be the number one pick overall in fantasy football. Get the hell out of here, a rookie. Like,
Oh, you're talking about the running
like,
back?
No, yeah, I'm like, I can't do that.
The running back that I drafted on my team? I have both Patrick Mahomes and him. Take that, Plamo. If you're listening to this right now, because I played him this week, your Hail Satan team just got reaped by the Pottstown Reapers, bruh.
Dude, oh my God. You know what? I found a dope name for you then.
What?
The Fresh Prince of Hilaire.
That's dope, man. That's dope. We got to put that one in the backlog. So
that's fire. I was like, ooh.
Fresh Prince of Hilaire.
Okay.
Man, I'm gonna have to make that into a song.
I actually picked them up on from my dynasty league. My friend just got me to this dynasty league, and the team was absolute garbage. So of course I had first pick, and it's like, well, I'll be fool not to pick him up. So I grabbed him, and the dude is as advertised, man. He is short, he is compact, he is quick.
Oh yeah, dude. He's gonna be like Shady McCoy.
Backfield. He has great vision. It's like, dude, he's just like,
ooh, no. He's gonna be like a Brian Westbrook for Andy Reid.
Yes.
Andy Reid knows how. One thing I'll say, like
he's a running back whisperer.
Yeah. Well, I don't like the fact. I think he's too pass heavy a lot, and that was always my criticism of Andy Reid. But man, he can scheme an offense. But let's get back into like the meat and potatoes here, man. We got a whole lot of NFL coming up, and instead of doing just like a full week one preview, let's think about like the league in general. Like, all right, let's just go conference by conference, man. Like, who do you think is going to come out of each conference, and what do we think? So let's start with.
Are you talking about just like each conference leader going to the Super Bowl? We're talking about Super Bowl picks?
Yeah, well, let's go division by division first, and see. So AFC East, man. Who do you like in the AFC East?
Well, of course, I'm biased.
Yeah. And
but honestly, in the AFC East this year, you gotta go Buffalo. No, you don't think so?
No, I still think it's Patriots division. Easy.
I'd like to think so. You know where I stand with that.
Yeah,
but
I know.
It all depends on what Cam is going to give us, because as much as everyone's hyped on Cam, it's like the Patriots don't have any skilled receivers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like our running backs. James White's okay. Julian Edelman, you're great, but I don't know if you're going to mesh well with Cam. Like, what other receivers do they have? N'Keal Harry's always hurt, and he hasn't even really completed a rookie campaign yet.
Yeah. My whole thing, like, so I'm not sold on Josh Allen. Sorry, Buffalo fans. I'm not sold on Josh Allen.
Really?
Yeah. Like he was okay. He was basically a caretaker quarterback. He just occasionally had some decent plays, but I don't think he was all that. Like I would still to this day, I would still take obviously Patrick Mahomes ahead of him. I would take what's his name? Baker Mayfield. I would take Baker Mayfield ahead of him. Yeah.
You take Baker Mayfield over Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right now, yeah. He probably had a better
nuts.
start to his career. Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen looks the part, but I still think he struggles with his accuracy. I still think he makes some bad reads. He's athletic and everything.
We need a producer. I want to see these stats. Who has a better throwing completion percentage?
That's Baker. Baker definitely does. Yeah, man. Shoot, I'm looking that up now.
All right, go ahead, Vlad.
But I
I'm curious.
I I
I'm really
think
curious about that.
I so I do think it's the Patriots. Though I mean, one, their defense is still
The defense is still going to
amazing.
be solid, even though we had
Hmm.
Dante Hightower and we had Patrick Chung leaving.
Yeah,
This safety we got, this Duggar kid, dude, we're talking about like Ed Reed type of like playability.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Oh
this
yeah,
kid's gonna be that good. Like I'm Patriots. As much as people hate them, it's like sorry, I saw we have the best secondary in the league. You know, JC Jackson is Pro Bowler.
yeah.
Stephon Gilmore, Defensive Player of the Year last year.
Hmm.
We still got the twins back there, and then and I got this Duggar kid. Our secondary is solid.
Yeah.
Linebackers are getting younger and better,
Oh yeah.
and Belichick knows how to run that. And our line is par maybe. We lost a lot of people, man,
Hmm.
but that's our offense. It's not our defense that I'm worried about. It's our offense. You know,
Yeah.
it's I like Cam. Cam's hungry. Cam wants to win. Cam's
Oh yeah.
pissed off that everyone left him. He's gonna come back with a vengeance. He's
Mhm.
very focused,
So
very
last
hungry.
last year Baker Mayfield completion percentage 59.4.
Okay,
Um, Josh Allen as 58.8.
that's
Josh Allen
close.
had less yards.
Less
Um,
passing yards.
yeah, he had less passing yards. They tied in touchdowns. I can't really. No, Baker had more touchdowns. Touchdown to interception ratio. Let's see. Baker Mayfield had 21 interceptions. Josh Allen had 9, but their touchdown, yeah, their interception ratio, yeah. So I mean, they're pretty close.
Yeah.
And I would say Josh Allen had a good year for Josh Allen, and Baker Mayfield had a down year for Baker Mayfield.
Okay,
You
I can
know,
see that well put.
which
Baker
I
has a lot. Baker has a lot. He has a
yes,
lot of weapons.
yeah, but weapons, and I've said this before, and this is not to be all Trey Wingo about it. I think wide receiver in general is a bit of an overrated position. I mean, everybody is talking about you need to have a number one wide receiver, but I look at teams like the Patriots. They don't have a true number one wide receiver, except for maybe when they had Gronk. Before that, it would be like Randy Moss. But like Wes Welker, Julie Seldman, they're not your traditional true number
No,
ones.
just slots all day.
Um, as
You
good
know,
as
but like down
Antonio
the
Brown.
field threats, it's like
Oh yeah, but and
Belichick's
even
horrible when it comes to recruiting wide receivers. It's like I don't know what it is. It's like, dude,
but he
like
makes but he makes them work, man. I mean, Troy Brown, was he like an athletic marvel? He was a good
no,
receiver for you guys.
he was solid for us. Love
Yeah.
Troy Brown.
The best teams like that's the one good thing about like Kansas City is yeah, they have like Kelsey, but Tyreek Hill's not a number one. I mean, he's a burner essentially.
Mm,
But when you put complementary pieces together in the wide receiver spot, you get, your
mm,
downfield stretch, your slot, your release people. You can overcome all of that. And that's why I've said like the last time a team whose best offensive weapon won a Super Bowl may have been the 49ers. It was almost the Falcons, but they blew that because I would say Julio Jones was a better offensive weapon than Matty Ice. He's just incredible, Julio Jones.
yeah, yeah, who, yeah,
But
yeah. Great. Man,
so
I would need a list to see. You know what I mean, to make that comparison.
yeah, I mean, I could just tell you off the top of my head right now. Like if you think about the past Super Bowl champions, Patriots, with the Seahawks, they didn't really have a great number one. Eagles, they were able to spread the ball around. They didn't have like a true number one wide receiver like we would consider it. Um, the Steelers, when they won their Super Bowl and went to their Super Bowl, they had like San Antonio Holmes, and then Antonio Brown, when they went to the Super Bowl, lost to the Packers. He was just emerging, but they also had Emmanuel Sanders. I think Hines Ward might still have been there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um,
Was Mike Wallace? Did he play in that Super Bowl?
he might have, but he wasn't like a true number. He was a one-track pony. He ran down the field, and Ben threw him the ball.
But he was a number one receiver for at least I want to say two
He
seasons.
was their number one receiver, but he was not what we consider to be a true number one. He wasn't a Randy Moss or
No,
like a Terrell
no,
Owens.
he wasn't Larry Fitz or anything like that.
Yeah.
No.
So he wasn't their best offensive weapon. Ben Roethlisberger was their best offensive weapon.
Yeah, Ben is solid. That pretty much that class, that 2004, was it 2004?
Yep.
Yeah, that 2004 class was just money. It's like, damn.
Right. So
Like,
anyway,
a lot of great
so
QBs.
we have a bit of disagreement coming out of the AFC East. So you have the Bills, I have the Patriots. Let's go to the AFC North. Who do you like there?
Oh. Oh, God.
You're not going to go with the
So
Ravens?
so sacrilegious.
You're not going with the Ravens, man? Lamar
No.
Jackson?
No, I'm actually with this. I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Mainly because you know what, Steelers are quiet.
Yeah.
No one's talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they quietly have a solid squad. That defense is right now, I think it's ranked number one in the league. And with Roethlisberger coming back with a vengeance, he's pissed off too. He lost all the Will Ferrell weight, and
He sure did that.
you know what I mean? He was working his ass off, and it's like he's hungry. Hopefully his shoulder keeps up, or his elbow, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I think Lamar Jackson, dude's amazing.
Yeah.
However, people have had a season, a whole year now to watch plays and to scheme for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this year he's going to have a regression, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a lot more pressure. And when there's pressure on a team, man, like it messes with you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So now he's going to have to deal with the pressure of trying to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like all eyes on him. I hope he supersedes it and does fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a lot of regression coming from him, and I see it, unfortunately, at the demise of the Ravens. Not only that, man, he's on a Madden cover.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It
You know
happens.
what? I just had a draft the other day, and I picked him, and I didn't realize until after the draft. I'm like, oh my God, he's on a Madden cover. I've only seen one person.
Oh, man. None of that. He's on the
He's
Madden
getting
cover
Madden
in the year 2020.
Oh,
That's like he's gonna lose both of his legs, man. It's not even gonna be an accident. He's literally just gonna be running down the field. His legs are gonna fall off like the bottom of a Lego dude. It's just plop. It's like, well, that was
he might
fun.
explode.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's 2020.
Yeah. So I'm with you though. I actually like the Steelers too on the division. And I actually point to two of Lamar Jackson's worst games were against the Steelers, and going against that defense. That defense has
And the Browns too,
athleticism.
surprisingly. The
Yeah.
first game against the Browns, he didn't do too well.
Both those teams have enough athleticism on the defensive side of the ball. Now Pittsburgh's defense is going to regress. Like you never are going to like historically never happens where you repeat your turnover rate, and that's where Pittsburgh's defense was huge last year, just the number of turnovers they generated.
Dude, I think they're gonna, if they're not the same, they're gonna supersede it. You guys have ballers on every level. Makes me sick.
Oh yeah. Hey, not my guys, man. Not my guys.
God. I know. But you're closely affiliated because your family, everyone, you know what I mean?
No, I'm like, yeah, I mean, they do have the talent, but just historically speaking, defenses that get a lot of turnovers don't always repeat that turnover in the following year. It's just, it just statistically doesn't happen. That said, they are still solid on every level. Like Cam Hayward's a beast. People aren't
And
talking
here, he's
about
all
this enough.
pro. He was first team
Stephon
All Pro.
Tuitt. Stephon Tuitt is coming back. Remember he missed last year. Then
T.J. Watt.
T.J. Watt, uh,
Come on.
Devin Bush, who in his second year,
dude.
Minka the Trader Fitzpatrick, like he could be like I don't want to say the next Palomalu because there's not going to ever be another one, but he's got playmaking genes like him, man.
Mm-hmm. He does, man. Wasn't it his first game? Didn't he have?
Yeah.
Did he have 2 picks? I don't. He had
Something
2.
like that.
Yeah, I think he had a forced fumble and an interception. I want to say.
And I remember going, man, you really did not want to play in Miami that bad. And I don't think it had anything to do with like the culture or anything. I just think that he didn't want to stay in Miami knowing that Miami was not fielding the best team possible. I mean, he came from Alabama. Like, you don't lose in Alabama. Then you come into the NFL and you're like, oh, man, I got to lose 16 games. I haven't lost 16 games in my life.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. It's that
Yeah.
fire in you. It's like you want to win. You want to go all out. It's like,
But-
I don't care. I'll take a pay cut somewhere. Just get me the hell out of here.
but
And
I
he
see-
landed into a great spot. Like Mike Tomlin is a great defensive coordinator. You know, yeah, at least he was with the Vikings. Look what he's done with the Steelers.
You know,
so-
I would vote for Mike Tomlin as president. That dude.
Yes.
That dude is so level-headed and
Yes.
he's just. But
Yes.
anyway,
And he motivates you. He makes you want to do better.
yeah,
He makes you want to fight for him. And
Yeah.
it's like, damn it, man, I can't stand the Steelers, but that dude, so much respect.
my only criticism of Mike Tomlin, I mean, always gonna have some criticism. The same kind of criticism I have for Bill Cowher too, is the Steelers, like, they're a good job at motivating, but sometimes I feel like they rely on emotions too much, like, and that's why they seem to sometimes play down to their competition because they're like, oh, we don't have to worry about them. But then, like, they'll go and they'll, hot box with the Patriots, man, and just have a real good game, and then they'll go to like Miami and get smacked. It's just like, come on, man. But this year, though, I can see them. They're hungry. They're, I think they're still a little bit stung from losing to Jacksonville in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Last time they were there.
Yeah. Jacksonville had you guys. I think they beat you guys. I want to say the last 3 times you guys played Jacksonville's won.
Yeah,
I want to say I keep saying you guys. My bad.
it's all right,
But,
man. I get it.
Yeah,
Everybody's got a little Steeler blood in their veins, man.
I used to like
the Steelers.
I used to like the Steelers. I used to
Until you moved to Erie.
until I moved to Erie,
dude.
and then the fans turned me off.
The Steelers are truly America's team. No, forget the Cowboys. Like, what team travels better than the Steelers? Maybe the Raiders.
All right, man. God, I want to make this the Pittsburgh Steeler dick sucking hour.
Yeah, we won't, man. We'll move on. We're gonna move on. AFC South. Who do you like in the South? Man, please. I know your gag reflexes are stronger than that.
Yeah, you guys have great fan base, and I used to love the Steelers, man. I did when I was in New England.
That's because New
I
England
was in New England,
sucked,
and I was
and you
loving
just
the
had
Steelers.
you had to root for a winner. 'Cause
Somewhere
New England
we
was
sucked.
New England was awful, except for like
No.
1 year in the '80s.
No, we had what? It was 86.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 86 season. 87, we went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That was just awesome year for Boston sports, period. Because I think all 4 sports
That
teams
should
went
have
to
been
championship game.
Miami Super Bowl. Miami would have beat the Bears in that Super Bowl because they stomped them in the regular season. Dan Marino was a god that game.
But what happened? Why didn't you guys go to the Super Bowl? What
Because
happened?
the stupid Patriots had to pull some Patriot bullshit out of their ass.
Really? So you guys couldn't beat Steve Grogan?
Listen, man. Dan Marino was the perfect quarterback to counteract that 46 defense because his release was so quick, and he just had like an unnatural feel for the field. So
Yeah.
and a cannon arm, and so you couldn't get to him to sack him. He was unflappable. He was a jerk, man. You couldn't.
Oh,
like,
dude, I remember him throwing zingers to OJ McDuffie and
Yeah.
Byers, and you guys had a solid squad, man. So many
Oh,
years.
So anyway, we both like the Steelers in the North. AFC South. This is a tough one.
AFC South was Houston, Um,
Jaguars, Colts, and the Texans. And the Texans are
hold on.
sneaky every year. Yeah.
Jaguars, Colts, Texans. Who else? There's one more missing.
Titans.
Titans. Okay.
AFC Championship game, Titans. Who just picked up Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh, they signed him.
Yeah, they signed Clowney to a defense that was already solid.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Tennessee.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm torn because the Texans every year, like people give Bill O'Brien a lot of crap as like a GM, but he makes them competitive every single year. He still got J.J. Watt. Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback. He's a good up and coming quarterback.
Mhm.
You know, like the
people
big
forget, like him and Mahomes came in the same year.
yeah, and then the
That's
year
like, these
after
dudes
that,
are young, man. This is what, their fourth year.
and Jackson too, right? Or Jackson
Huh?
come the year after?
This is Lamar Jackson's third year.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
coming
yeah,
year. So it's the year after.
Yeah, it's the year after. But yeah, like Lamar Jackson used to be, like him and Deshaun in the ACC used to battle it out. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, losing again. I know like losing DeAndre Hopkins is a big deal, but again, with my thought on wide receiver, it's not catastrophic.
No, you know what? I initially when I heard it, I'm like,
Yeah.
how stupid could you be? But then when I sit there and think about it, it's like, okay, you replace D Hop with Brandon Cooks. Yes, it is a downgrade. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Cooks ain't that bad. He had a
No.
bad game Thursday.
Yeah,
My God, 2 catches for 20 yards. Come on, Brandon, you can do better than that. But he's a way better receiver than that. He's had 1,000 yards receiving in every single
yeah,
year in the league.
yeah. He's
And now you get David Johnson,
who
everyone had
seems
him
to be
washed
on the
up.
come up.
And it's like, if he goes back to 2016, David Johnson, that's like, yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay, so what do they get for D Hop? They got David Johnson and a draft pick, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So
I mean,
people were knocking Bill, but it's like, no, he might have.
he's made some. I mean,
I think
questionable
he might have
moves.
came up on that one. You know what I mean? Because D Hop is good, but it's like if you get a lot of assets for one player.
And Hopkins has been actually, if you look at his statistics, he's been trending down the past couple of years. Every year he's gotten just a little bit worse. So
So you might as well get some high value for him while he's still
yeah,
at the top of his game.
Yeah, wide receiver is going to quickly turn into a position like running back where you do not want to have a bulk of your money tied into a wide receiver. Because I don't want to say they're as interchangeable as running backs, but it's starting to get to that because even a lot of the running backs now are starting to play wide receiver coming out of like high school and stuff. So
Christian McCaffrey had 116 catches.
He's just
116 catches as a running back?
Yeah.
What is going on?
That's some Larry Sanders type ish right there.
Some Matt Forte numbers. Remember him?
With Damian Tomlinson.
LT. It's like,
so
man.
So you're thinking the Titans, huh?
Yes, Titans.
I think my gut is actually going to tell me the Colts are coming out. Best offensive line in the division. Phillip Rivers is
in the league. I would say. I would say got the best O-line in the league.
Yeah, it's between them, Dallas, and the Ravens and Pittsburgh, I think, right now.
Yep. Yeah, I would heavily agree with that.
But Phillip Rivers is definitely an upgrade over Jacoby Brissett.
Yes.
I mean, I know he's getting older, but they have some talent. I mean, they
did
lose Eric Ebron.
Actually, I wanted to give you props on your 2 running backs too, by the way. I'm like, you went young, but I'm like, dude, Jonathan Taylor. Like, my God, I another great college running back who's coming to a great situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the only thing that sucks about him is I believe he fumbled a lot while he was in college.
Yeah.
That was his only downfall. So if you want to hold on to the ball,
you can definitely work on that. It could be just like little technique things, or you could just have like little tiny hands too. They can give some like prosthetics or something.
But go to the school of Tiki Barber, so you hold on to that rock.
Oh yeah, man. But yeah, I think I like the Colts. I mean, their defense is pretty good.
Yes.
They have a good defensive line. They're just I think I forget who their linebacker is. Like Sluice.
Darius Leonard.
or Darius Leonard. That's it. Yeah, he's
Mhm.
solid. I, I, I I just don't think the Texans have the horsepower to beat them. But it's going to be
No,
closer than I think people think. And then Titans, I think Titans are going to be, people keep talking about like all these different Patriot coaches trying to rebuild the Patriot way and everything. And I don't see like Brian Flores doing that.
I don't see Vrabel doing it either.
I think Vrabel's actually like the closest to it. Like his team last year was very reminiscent of those first Patriot Super Bowl teams. Good
Oh,
caretaker quarterback, solid
gritty.
defense. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
He could do it. Bill O'Brien definitely is his own coach. I do like Bill O'Brien as a coach, man. But so you have the Titans, and I have the Colts coming out of the South. Now we have to go to the West, which is probably the most. Is there anybody but the Chiefs in that division anymore? I mean, the Chargers lost Phillip Rivers, and they're gonna have Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert, who I'm
I
not sold
know.
on Justin Herbert.
I know.
The
I do
Raiders,
like Austin Eckler,
yeah.
Austin Powers. I like
Oh
him a
yeah,
lot.
and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's a beast.
Hmm.
Um,
The I believe the Raiders are up and coming.
yeah, the Raiders potentially. I just don't think they have enough power. Like people clown John Gruden for gutting the team the way that he did it, man. But when he rebuilt it, it's been solid. And if he can get
Yeah.
decent quarterback play out of Derek Carr, it's a playoff team.
Yeah, I agree with most of it. The whole Khalil Mack thing was kind of like, why would
I
you do that? He's damn
understand
near
it.
the best defensive player in the league. You're just gonna let him go?
Yeah,
Ugh. Or was it
I,
a trade? Was it a trade that they let him go?
they no, I think they traded him because he
Okay,
was trying to hold out for a new contract.
that's right.
Now, again, I think that's also one of those positions where you don't want a bulk of your money into a defensive end.
Mm.
And I think that's where they came up. And plus, they were trying to get younger. And here's my theory about trades like that. Like on the surface, there's no way the Raiders won that trade because they just gave away. No matter how many draft picks they get, the odds of those draft picks becoming Khalil Mack are
Slim
almost
to none.
zero. Yeah, like I,
And trying to
um,
catch lightning in a bottle is
yeah,
impossible.
it's impossible. But I will say that I think if you can get a a fraction, my uncle Steve just chimed in. He said his unbiased prediction is the Steelers will win their seventh Super Bowl this year,
Jesus Christ.
and they very well could. But we'll get to that in
Can
a
we
little
not
bit.
talk about making 2020 a worse year, please?
Well, technically they would win it in 2021. So
It's 2020 season, man. The hell out of here with that shit. God. Now, you know what? Actually, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Maybe the Steelers should win. That would just be the icing on the cake to this year.
So
My,
what would you rather have though? Would you rather have the Steelers win the Super Bowl or the NFL to completely collapse because of coronavirus? Oh man, the fact you have to think about it just shows the depths of your hatred. And you know why you're hating, man? Because secretly you're still a Steeler fan.
probably.
It's still in your blood and you just can't bear it. It's bubbling to the
You know
surface
what it
every
is?
so
I
often.
want to, I want to like them, but I hate them because of the fans. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is I actually went to a Steelers game, man.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
Oh
I
yeah,
had a
man.
great time. You know, it was a one where Roethlisberger threw 6 touchdowns at home against Indianapolis. It was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, it was ridiculous. I think it was Andrew Luck's like second year in the league, and
Yeah.
it was something ridiculous. And actually it was Martavis Bryant's very first game,
Yeah.
and I'm like, they landed another like stud receiver. How do they do this? Pisses me off. But it was a great day. It was a great fall day, and the fans were cool as hell. Everyone's being nice.
Oh yeah,
I'm
man.
like, why can't it be like this in Erie, man? I got
Bec-
like 99% of the Steeler fans I meet up there are jerks. Yeah, I said it, jerks.
Because
And
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you
oh,
why. I have a theory, and I actually shared this with Azim one day. We tried to call you, and you weren't available. My
I mean,
theory.
I felt the Steeler talks. I was like, do not answer the phone.
Well, we weren't talking about the Steelers. We actually talked about Erie, and I have this theory about Erie, in that it is a town where it's because it's so far removed away from everybody.
Hmm.
It's just it, and I don't want to say it's like isolated, but I feel like the people in that town unintentionally try to over exaggerate the stereotypes of how people should act. Like the wealthy people in Erie act like real rich snobs, and they don't have that kind of money. You know, the Steeler fans in Erie act like, oh, we're the greatest. We're so diehard Steeler fans, but they're not the same as like the Steeler fans down in Pittsburgh. Just people like are overacting to their stereotypes.
Yeah, well, the overacting has gotten me to be
Yeah.
like, F that team.
Yeah. So, but
But
I
you
mean,
know what? But going back to the original question,
yeah,
no, I would just, you know what? Sport over my own hatred of a single team. I love the sport of football more than I hate the Steelers. So
yeah,
if it takes the Steelers to win the freaking Super Bowl, fine. Can we like, break someone's legs or
yeah,
I don't know, knock a few people out. At
Yeah.
least make it comparable somewhere. Give me some hope and some happiness.
Dude,
Somewhere.
the Steelers had that year last year. Steelers lived through 2020 in 2019, man. With like all their injuries, it was ridiculous what they had to go through last year.
Yeah. Which kind of that's what worries me about Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah,
He's a great receiver, great young receiver for sure.
yeah.
Is he a true number one? I don't know.
But
Yeah.
what did I just say about true number ones? It's
I don't
all
know what
about
you said.
it's all about having the complementary pieces. Like Juju is
Yes,
great
true.
coming in and out of the breaks, doing contested catches.
Right.
He's kind of like I think he's a more athletic version of an Anquan Bolden, right? Where he's going to give you those tough yards. They have receiver. He's not going to take the top off of the defense though.
Right.
But they do
Right.
have people in there that can take the top off of the defense. And on top of that, Vance McDonald should be coming back. And they got Eric
And
Ebron.
no, they got Ebron. I would
Yeah.
the hell with Vance McDonald. It's like, dude, you could be out blocking down tight end, but it's like when it comes to just like running routes and
Yeah.
catching ball, I'm gonna give it to Ebron all day.
Yeah, but they have
Just
I mean,
a
yeah,
legit squad.
yeah. But
And
going back to
Deontay Johnson, that
yeah,
dude.
he's an up and comer.
That's-
That was it, Chase Claypool or something like that, the rookie.
Claypool, yeah. I'm like, who the hell is this kid? Everyone's talking about him nonstop.
He might be their burner. So it's like they got the complementary pieces. Like I think they get it more than most teams, in terms of wide receivers.
Yeah.
But AFC West, anybody but the Chiefs.
It's signed, sealed, delivered. The
All right,
chefs all the way.
So all right, yeah, playoffs are looking at AFC. I think we're gonna have to pick up the NFC next week. And what I think we can do, at least during the season, we may shift these if we want to shift these to Sundays. We can, spend like a part of it, like 15 minutes talking about other nerd stuff, and then even do like a little bit of a weekly NFL preview of like big games and everything that we're looking at.
Like that. That's a good idea.
Because I'll
Easily
talk
good
about the
idea.
NFL all day, man, all day,
Oh, yeah.
all night. What would be cool is like if we can find a way to like get together even like during the week sometime. I have NFL Game Pass. What would be really cool is I like actually going in and watching the all 22 cam, like watching the coaches tape of some of the games that just played, man. And we can attempt to do some film breakdown before we get into it, man. But that's next week. Playoffs. So the playoffs. Each team has 7 this year, if you remember.
What do you mean each team has 7?
Each conference has 7. There's 7.
Okay.
So there's an extra seed this year. So like if I'm gonna pick the playoffs right now, I'd probably go like the winners. My winners would be like the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Steelers, and the Colts. My three wild cards are probably going to be the
How's that going to
Ravens.
work with three wild cards?
Well, only the top seed gets a bye.
Is that what you're doing now?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So if you think
I did
about
not know that. Oh,
yeah, so if you have 7 teams on that first Sunday, you have your three wild cards versus three division winners.
okay.
And so
Hmm.
that's 3 games.
Hmm.
And then you'll get three winners. The lowest seed will play the
Play
number
the
one
number
seed.
one.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's how they're gonna do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So my three wild cards, I'm gonna have
Could
to
you
say the
imagine that though?
oh,
I mean, could you imagine going number one seed 14-2, you're sitting at the second seed third 13-3,
yeah.
and it's like, yeah, all your hard work's kind of just you still got to play first week of the.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Why not just add? Why not just make it 8 across the board? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
I
mean,
I still think those first two teams have earned that right. I don't think
yeah,
it should be.
I
That's
feel
just me
like
personally.
I'm actually getting to the side of almost kind of what the NBA does. Like maybe we get rid of the divisions,
Mhm.
and because there's always this like every year for the past few years, especially in the AFC West, when it was like the Chargers and sometimes the Broncos, there would be teams that would be close to 500 that would be winning their division. Remember when Seattle did that a couple years ago,
Yep.
and they ended up with home field over the Saints, and
Oh
the
my
Saints
God,
had
yes. And it's like that makes no sense. Or you
yeah.
get it was the NFC South a few years ago. Maybe it was like a decade ago even. I remember the winner of that division
Hmm.
was like 3 games. I won't say they are at 500 or a few games below 500. That's how
Hmm.
bad it was.
Yeah,
And it's like, but you still get to host.
yeah,
Makes no damn sense. None. So
yeah,
well, I agree with what you're saying, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like just get rid of the divisions. I mean, if you want to use the divisions for scheduling, or if you want the divisions to be really important, have a majority of your games in the division. So there's you could play each team in there 4 times, and that will give you 12 games. And then you can play another conference, and you can split the conference, one home, like one away, and that'll give you 16. And then you can
Yeah.
just every year like alter the conference and keep all the games. I mean, if you did it like that, then it would really add more weight to actually winning the division because you would have to beat your division out instead of just playing them each team twice.
Yeah.
Or just get rid of the divisions, or maybe just make the AFC East and the AFC West and have two big divisions.
I like that. I
That'd
like
be
that a
so
lot, actually.
yeah,
That makes more sense. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
gives I like that really gives it weight too.
yeah,
If you're not gonna do that, yeah, just make the whole conference
yeah,
make it just it is what it is.
yeah.
But
And then you can have your playoff. Like I don't, and maybe the playoff seeds aren't decided by record, or are decided by record. But like you win the division, you're locked into the playoffs, but you're not guaranteed a number one seed or something like that. It's going to be based completely off record.
okay. What about record and strength of schedule?
Well, then we're getting a little bit too college. I think
Yeah.
record's just fine. So like if
Okay.
you so like that year when New Orleans had to go to Seattle and Seattle was 9-7, New Orleans was like 12 and something.
12-4, yeah.
Yeah, under this new platform, New Orleans would actually have the home game. They would be seated
Right.
higher, even though they
Right.
came in as a wild card.
Right, because I mean you go 12-4
Yeah,
in your division, but then the team ahead of you was like 13-3. So it's like, really? I like
yeah.
this is our
Sometimes,
prize we get to.
yeah. I mean, you might see that in like the AFC North this year. I mean,
Oh
you could
man,
you
yeah.
could easily see like the Ravens being like 13-3 and the Steelers being 12-4, or vice versa.
You guys might have the most competitive. I keep saying you guys, damn it.
I know, man. You just
The
lump me in.
AFC, the AFC North might have the most competitive. Well, you guys in them in the NFC West, I would
Well,
say.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I would be on the lookout for the AFC East because I will say Buffalo should be better. Miami was competitive last year at the end of the season, Like they may not win more than like I actually that's another reason why like I think Pro Football Talk I might have to abandon them. I think they had somebody predicting the Steelers wouldn't make the playoffs and Miami would. I'm like, no. Miami needs like they are so young. Like outside of Ryan Fitzpatrick,
Hmm.
their oldest player is 29. And that's Kyle Van Noy.
Wow.
So this is a young team. They need a little bit of experience, I
What the
think,
hell is your
before they
guys'
can.
running back? Oh, Jordan Howard.
Yep.
Jordan Howard and who else? You guys had another
Matt
someone.
Breida.
Matt Breida. Okay. Yeah, interesting, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate on Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard's only, I think he's only 25.
Yeah. He's not.
He's still a young dude.
Hmm.
He's a bruiser back,
Yeah.
but it's like I think he's a lot better than what most people give him credit
Yeah.
for.
They've got a good set of complementary backs because Breida's a burner.
Hmm.
He's gonna scorch some people, so there's some opportunity there.
No, and you guys got Preston Williams. He's a solid receiver.
Yeah.
Mike Wallace, if he, we'll know by probably by week 5 of this year if he's like really really legit. If last year
Hmm.
was just a fluke, or if
Yeah.
he's being like the real deal now,
I
which I
guess
hope for him he is. Yeah.
Gasecki's coming up as a tight end.
Gesicki,
Um,
yes, yes.
Parker.
Hmm.
He actually had a breakout year last year.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm saying. If
and if
he breaks out again,
Yeah, if Tua can like stay healthy, man, he's gonna be he's gonna be fun to watch. Like
yes.
I have I in terms of play, I have more confidence in him than I do Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow did it for one season. I mean, but Tua was there for 3 years as solid play.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, so hold on. Did Joe Burrow only play 1 year?
No, he played multiple years. He was actually the LSU quarterback the year before. It wasn't until he got the that I think Joe Brady as a coordinator
Okay, where
that
he really took off.
they took off. Like he was a fifth year senior,
Okay.
and I think he had transferred twice. Like he lost out to Jake Fromm, and then I think
Mm.
he may have been in OSU, and he lost out to Justin Fields, and then he went to LSU. I think. I mean, I know he was in Georgia, and he lost out to Jake Fromm.
But then again, like I mean, growth depends on
Yeah,
like how much the player wants to grow too.
yeah.
You
No,
know,
I
so
definitely get that, and he's got
and
a lot of intangible talents, but he's also 25. I think.
sometimes I think that goes. The more mature you are, man, it goes a longer way.
It does, but it also means that, and I hate using this term, I'm against this term, but it also means that your ceiling is kind of set. Like your physical maturity is pretty close. You're not going to get much better than you are at that point.
Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. I guess in the NFL it's different. I'm
Yeah.
thinking like NBA. In the NBA, you don't really start peaking until you get into your later 20s.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
28 to like 32 is when you're pretty much in your prime in the NBA.
yeah, that's when you get into your physical, and that's just humans in general. You're at
Hmm.
your male physical peak at like 28.
Okay.
But then what happens is the reason why even though you start going down in your 30s, physically your mental is able to pick back up. You're able to get more experience and to be a little bit more wily. And so that's why your peak is like from like 28 to like 33, 34, because
Hmm.
that's at the period of time when your mental matches your physical.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like the same thing in the NFL.
Hmm.
Unless you're like Tom Brady and you start using like steroids, because I can't I don't understand how in one year you have one of the weaker arms in the NFL and then the next year you're Brett frickin' Favre. Don't give me that TB12 stuff, man. Nature doesn't work like that. You don't start out as a
No,
chimpanzee
nature
and
doesn't
turn
work.
into a silverback.
Nature doesn't work that way, but Tom Brady does.
Oh, yeah, which means he's unnatural, which means he's
Oh,
he's
you
he's
know
a
what?
pincushion, man.
He is
He's got
in the
Jose
off.
Canseco on speed dial.
He his offseason regimen is like most NFL players like hardcore training throughout the season. It's like he stays with it. He does. There's never a time where he's not training, and it's like he's dedicated full bore into this 24/7. You
It's
know,
like-
and it's like, dude. I mean, Brady, you're a great NFL player for sure, but it's like, you know what? I bet he ain't the best dad. He ain't
No.
around them kids.
No, man, he's just throwing money at those kids. I mean, but he's so advantaged. The fact that his wife makes so much more money than he does too.
Well, that just shows you. For him, it's. I don't think it was ever about money.
No, it's never about money. But
It was
what I
never
mean
about money
is
for him.
just
It was about like, I want to be the best. I want to show you I'm the best. That's why a part of me this year, I'm like, I would love to see. Tell me this wouldn't be an epic Super Bowl. Tampa Bay versus New England.
yeah.
Come on, man. That has everything you want in a Super Bowl.
So
You know?
I'll say this, just a preview when we go over the NFC next week, man. I actually picked Tampa Bay at being like a 7-9 team
Whoa.
because I am firmly in the camp that New England's success is 80% Belichick, 20% Brady.
Oh, God. You don't think it's a 50-50 deal?
No, I think, I mean, and
I think it was a perfect storm for the both of them. They just see each other at the right time.
It was, and I think what happened was Tom Brady's initial success, he was a caretaker quarterback that was just kind of gutsy at the end of the games. Like, he wasn't throwing the ball all over the field. It was a defense. It was running, like Corey Dillon.
More towards the end of the by the time you got Corey Dillon, he was slinging it.
He never really started slinging it until they got Randy Moss.
Well, yeah, because he finally had a receiver.
Yeah, but
Like, he could really go downfield and he could catch anything. But this dude was when people say he was turning water into wine, it's like he really was there for a bit.
Yeah, but I think what happened was he was there, like it was enough for Belichick to stabilize and start getting like his system and his kind of players in there really cemented. Like, honestly, when it comes to empirical evidence, there's more evidence that says that Belichick is more important to the success of the Patriots than Brady was.
Agreed.
And that's all I'm going off of. It's
If I
just
can have
logical.
one of the two, Brady or Belichick, I'm going Belichick all day.
Yeah. And it's just, they almost made the playoffs when Brady missed that entire season. They went 11-5.
Won. They should have went to the playoffs.
You know why they didn't?
5 and you don't win the playoffs.
You know why they
Matt
didn't?
Castle is your.
You know why they didn't?
I remember that.
Wildcat. That
Yeah.
Wildcat came out of nowhere. Like, Bill Belichick wasn't even thinking about a Wildcat. And it just completely caught them off guard. Now, did it work in the second game? No, but it only took that one game. And that was enough to get that tiebreaker.
That's fine. Whatever. I think that was is that the only time?
Yeah. That was like
He
the
did
only
not
time
win
they
the-
didn't
no.
win the division.
No, it was Belichick's third year. He didn't win a division either.
Oh.
His
Yeah,
third
yeah.
year. That was the year because they won a Super Bowl 2001. 2002 they went 9-7.
Yeah. And then they
It was like- it
started
was
doing
not-
their back-to-back junk.
Right, and then the year after that, that's when they were. I mean, I'll never forget that 2003 team, man. When we had Rodney Harrison and Lawyer Malloy about to be in that backfield, and I'm like, oh my God, we're going to murder people this year. And then and then they let go of Lawyer Malloy.
Yeah, and then they got stomped by Buffalo.
Yes, 31-7.
I remember that because
I
you were
remember that
you're
clearly.
like, oh, this season's gonna be a bust, and they messed around and won the Super Bowl. That was a snow game year, the snow job year.
No, it's no job.
I thought that was their first Super Bowl. I thought, yeah, because Bledsoe
Mm-mm.
was starting then. I'm pretty sure.
2001 was the year where
Yeah, but they traded Lawyer
Bledsoe.
Malloy in 2001. I thought.
2003.
I take your word for it, but I'm gonna look it up.
No, go ahead. No, because I remember that clearly, man. So I was like, "What? We got Rodney Harrison." I was so pumped, and then I'm like, "We got Lawyer Malloy, and we got Ty Law."
Because you
And
started.
then right before the first game of the year, it was like a week before, and they traded him to Buffalo.
Yeah, you're right. And yeah, because they went like 0-2 that year, and you're like, ah. They started
Yep.
0-2, and then they end up messing around and winning the Super Bowl like a bunch of pricks.
Yeah, I think that and then we won I think we won like 12 in a row, and then yeah, we just went around. We like that year was dominant for us, man. We had a solid team all the way around.
Yeah.
And what was funny is we played Buffalo the first game of the year, lost 31-7. The last game of that year, we played Buffalo. Final score at home, 31-7. Flipped the script on their asses. I was like, ah,
yeah,
I was pumped. Yes,
we were pumped. All right, man. So I tell you what, we're a little bit over time, so we're going to stop the stream here. And so next week, we'll let you guys know if we're gonna roll on Sunday, and maybe start making it like a little NFL preview. And then after the NFL season's over, still rolling with this, we will get into some more of our nerd stuff. But we'll definitely definitely keep nerding it up, man.
I want to get a nerd stuff throughout.
Oh yeah, but we will
for sure. Because we got to talk about stuff like Lovecraft Country, if y'all ain't watching. Woo! Raised by Wolves. HBO Max is on fire right now, man.
I need to think about it's enough to make me go, you know what? Maybe I should really just dismantle my cable and
you haven't dismantled your cable yet? I
no,
thought
not
you
yet,
did
man.
already.
Not yet. No, I need to call them and see if I can get like a discount. I'm only having the cable because my internet speed. I get that gig.
So what if you take it away, then what?
I might not be able to get the gig, so I have to call and everything. Or I'm gonna at least see if they can lower their expenses down, because it would be cool to get some HBO Max. I actually have Boomerang right now, so I'm watching some old cartoons. Fire! All right, anyway, all right. So, folks, we're gonna end the stream right here. Like, if you do have any comments or want some got some critiques for us and for Baby Dread Aaron over here, just let us know, man, and we'll catch you next week.
Amen.